Today we are talking about Arrow Video, one of my all-time favorite companies, and hands down the single solitary reason that I initially went region free. I'm going to be going through my entire Arrow Video collection. I've got a lot of early ones. You're going to be, if you've never collected Arrow or a company like this, you're going to be surprised by just the breadth and depth of the titles that they did put out, because they put out pretty much like a bit of everything. And when they put out a release, it's usually a definitive release. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into every single Arrow title I've got in my collection, why I picked them up, if you should. And we got singles, we got box sets, we got steel books. So, you know, prep in, get ready, get your popcorn, get your drink. This is going to be a bit of a video, and I'm very much looking forward to doing this and talking about Arrow Video. Arrow Video is a UK-based company that starting to do DVDs in 2009. Now, that being said, before that, they have been around in inception for theatrical release since way back in the early 90s, since around 1991. Initially, they did kind of Blu-ray releases, and they even for a while had a budget label for DVDs only called Aerodrome, which I have some of them. We're going to look into those as well. Actually, that's probably the best place to start to see just what you got with their budget releases, and we'll go from there. Aerodrome, unfortunately, is no longer. They did a whole series of stuff, including Arrow Academy, which was kind of their Criterion version of what they did. But let's start it with some of these here Arrow. Basically the budget ones, because I started with a lot of these budget releases, because DVDs, even if they weren't region free, were often easier to do get a region free when you put them on your computer, for instance, than like a Blu-ray was. But when I started getting Arrow Blu-rays and stuff, I decided I really need to get a region free player. And guys, once you go region free, you don't go back. But one of the reasons was because I was a massive Argento fan, and I wanted films like this. So this is Sleepless. This is often a very underrated Argento film. I actually really like this. I did upgrade to the Scorpion Blu-ray edition of this one here, but this is such a great film. I'm so glad to have it. There, where I got a lot of my Tinto Brass stuff, we got to kind of censor this one here, and that's All Ladies Do It, which is my all-time favorite Tinto Brass film. I think Cheeky is probably number 2. If you know Tinto Brass, you know where Cheeky makes so much sense. The Key is probably one of his better known films, and one of his best in this genre. See, Tinto Brass was one of those guys that, as a director, was really doing well, and did he did kind of the, I don't want to say just like the softcore stuff, because his stuff was more artsy than that, but not in artsy in the way that it wasn't approachable. It was very much an approachable film. But he did Caligula, and Caligula kind of screwed him up. Frivolous Lola, not my favorite, but because although I do like the actress, I don't like the way that they've done the character of Lola. And here's you see some of these here. So this was put in obviously a different case, but did not mind the gore. Things like Pieces. The artwork here is fantastic, right? And by the way, these aren't most of these here have a ton of special features on here. Now some are lighter in special features, like most of the stuff like the Key and stuff like that are very light, just alternate, language and all the type of stuff. But things like Pieces, and this one I can show you, I'd be careful, but look at the special features on this one. So you're looking at everything from interviews to Stephen Thrower, a whole bunch of stuff on here. And I would, of course, get the Grindhouse one when that one came out. This is where I got Beyond Reanimator, which, by the way, Jeffrey Combs absolutely loves this edition of Beyond Reanimator. He had not seen it. It did was unaware it even existed. You can see his uh, where he did the autograph for it when I met him. But he absolutely adored this one here. On the inside for these releases, he often had these little booklets, kind of the precursor to what we have today, the bigger books, and other things you'd see, for instance, is, which I don't think I've got them in any of these here particular releases because I got them all put away, the posters. He had like full-size posters for these Aerodrome, for a lot of these Aerodrome releases, until the latter ones, which we'll get to afterwards. I want to see if this one has a poster on it. No, but it does have the booklet again. We got Jaguar Lives. And most of these did also have, by the way, alternate artwork. So just to give you an idea, because I don't do this on everyone. You see alternate artwork there for Jaguar Lives. I just like the original art, so I got that put on there. And some of these here often came in like, and I've got mine put away to preserve them in these protective, what you call like slip cases. But they were side loaded, and you could see the front, and like basically there was like a window box slip case. Tenebrae had one of the window box slip cases because that way you could choose which artwork you wanted, and there's two artworks on the inside as well, so you could always just decide what art you wanted to put out on the window box side of it. By giving you a window box, it lets you have the information about the DVD or Blu-ray on the outside while keeping the art kind of untethered. And you can see the amazing art on some of these here. This is Two Evil Eyes, George A. Romero, and Dario Argento. I give them some great features on here as well, including the collector's booklet, the poster, and all that stuff. Terror at the Opera was one of the very first that I picked up, and one of the very first videos on my channel, actually. This one was a 2-disc edition because they did the different versions of Terror at the Opera. And they even did like, on one of these, they did like I'm not sure if this is one or not, did like the complete Dario Argento trailer gallery. Like 18 Argento films trailers. I absolutely love this artwork right here. Opera is one I haven't upgraded to Blu-ray yet, but I definitely will down the road. Classic Steinel Syndrome, which is a favorite of mine. This one I had to change the box in because my cats had like gotten like scratched up the other box during a power outage, which lasted for a couple of days. We actually stayed in bed, cuddled up, got a computer, and watched some of my Argento films. Not even joking on that. And this was one of them. Nothing says romance like Steinel Syndrome, right? And of course, sometimes the artwork would be way better than the film, as is the case of Card Player. I do like this film, but this is much better artwork than the film itself. Well, you can read the title right there, by Massimo Dallamano, and it's actually a really good film with Stephanie Beacham. It was a weird title that they gave it. Another Massimo Dallamano film that they put out was The Night Child. Another really good film that I enjoyed a lot. There's a ton of features on here, including like The Exorcism, Italian style, author and critic Paolo Salita, filmmaker Lucio Cuzzi, and screenwriter Antonio Tintori reflect on the brief boom in pasta possession movies which were rushed out in Rome in the wake of William Friedkin's classic Exorcist film. If you're French, you know this one. This is like actually very famous. This is the uncut edition of it too, and it was a controversial film, to say the least. Speaking of controversial films, the first Nico Mastorakis I picked up was All Into Death. This is an insane movie, which I definitely recommend you check out, but it is not for everyone, my friends. I'm gonna grab this movie to now. It's definitely not for everyone. I have so many versions of Christmas Evil, but I absolutely love this cover. Look at this. Does not look gorgeous? Slaughter High, I have yet to upgrade to the Blu-ray on this one. I just love this edition. It is so filled with special features. Not sure if you can see there or not, but if you can always pause and check them out. There is not a better looking version of Savage Streets than this cover right here. I kid you not. Look at this. The poster in this one, which I'm going to guess is probably put in with my poster stuff, was absolutely stunning. It is, again, loaded with special features. Now, the newer Aerodrome stuff before the got canceled was stuff that we'll say wasn't as big as the. It was different. Like the white cases were gone. You could see that kind of branding was gone from it. But I got a couple of latter ones. This is one of Russ Meyer's that I didn't have in the set, and that is the 7 Minutes, based on Irving Wallace novel. And actually, I really liked 7 Minutes. And last but not least, the very last Aerodrome that I picked up from them was Reform Schoolgirls. Now, is there an Aerodrome box set? Yes, there is, and that's coming up next. Now, this is the only box that you're going to see pre me showing off the rest of this stuff. Well, there'll be boxes later on. But this fits so well into the Aerodrome portion of this video that I did want to show this one. And this is the X Reynolds set. This is one of my favorites, and I've watched it so many times. Just like the movies on here. We got McBain, we've got like Maniac Cop, Cheerleaders, and Penitentiary. And it says 6 films. There's a reason for that, because there's 2 extra films on there. See, the Cheerleaders came with Revenge of the Cheerleaders, second film, and Penitentiary came with Penitentiary 2. So you literally got like 6 films. And the way that was done is, and I actually really, really love this, is it has like the old school like poster art. It's all like kind of faded and done. Now on the other side it would have like more of a the standard, like I'll let you see through there, Aerodrome edition poster picture. But McBain's a really good film, actually. I know it's not based on the character from The Simpsons, but with Cheerleader, for instance, they went like one step farther and they gave each of them, the Cheerleaders and Revenge of the Cheerleaders, their own discs, which they didn't do for Penitentiary and Penitentiary 2. That was put on one disc. So it was really interesting to see the fact that they did that. Maniac Cop is here, of course. Got a Blu-ray of Maniac Cop as well, and the classic Penitentiary 1 and 2. You're able to get from here long before Vinegar Syndrome ever put these out. It's a great set, and I wanted to get into that before we went to our next one, which is Aero Academy and Aero Films. There's some good stuff here, guys. Aero Academy was always meant to be like the Criterion, meant for the important films. Aero Films was meant to be kind of like a worldwide cinema and other releases that they did. I'll show you I only have a couple of the Aero Films releases, so I'll show you those first off. We'll start off with one that actually is a box set. That is the Claude Chabrol set. They've recently put out 2 big Claude Chabrol sets from Aero Video, but this is the initial one they put out. They actually put out 2 collections of these. This is the first one. Titles are on back. I'm not going to ruin the pronunciation of them, but you can read them right here, and I'll just leave it up there long enough for if you want to pause the video and read what the titles are and what the films are about. You can do so. I love this set, and I've watched it several times. The other one is one that me and my better half really kind of fond over, and that is the Ray Harryhausen Special Effects Titan. Yes, this is the initial like early release with the slipcase. It got released later on, like sans slipcase, and I know I'm always saying slipcover doesn't matter, but I really did want it for this one here. It is a great release with some amazing special features on here as well, some wonderful interviews. And if you're a Ray Harryhausen fan, you really do owe yourself to have this one in your collection. And with that being said, let's dive into the Aero Academy releases, because we got some really great stuff right here. As of right now, Aero Video and Aero Academy have been put together as one specific company, so there's no difference in the releases now. But when you got an Aero Academy back in the day, it meant you were getting like it was your film school in a box, I guess, as Criterion would say, because it was to showcase a lot of really kind of classic cinema that definitely needed to be seen. And let's start off with a great one by Jules Dassin, and that is The Naked City. I absolutely adore this movie. I love the artwork for this. Um, there's some great stuff in this. There is a 15-minute interview uh, with Bruce Goldstein, uh, talking about Joel Dassin, the director. There's an audio commentary on here. There's the Hollywood 10, the which, by the way, if you are going to watch any film noir or any like movies in the 50s type stuff, you really got to check out that there. The Hollywood 10 is a short, it's a documentary short uh, about the 10 guys that were blacklisted from Hollywood when they did the scare, the Red Scare. It is a 2 disc, both Blu-ray and DVD set as they were back then. There is alternate artwork, and I'll let you see because it's actually pretty nice. But I've always been a fan of this film, and I was really excited to pick this one up. Next up is the original The Killers with Burt Lancaster and Ava Gardner. Absolutely fantastic film. I really enjoyed this one and the way they did it. There's a ton of special features on here as well. Detailed commentaries on 4 key scenes, which actually was kind of different. Comparative study of multiple versions of The Killers, because there's actually 3 radio pieces inspired by The Killers. Just some really neat stuff on here. And trailers for The Killers, Brute Force, The Naked City, and Rififi, which are 4 films that were put out by Arrow Academy. Do I have them? We'll find out. Also, this is The Killers, the remake. And this one here has John Cassavetes in it. Instead of like Ava Gardner, we now have God. Oh, it's why is this like Angie Dickinson, right? Angie Dickinson, yeah. I know it's on here back somewhere. And Ronald Reagan is a bad guy. I'm not going to touch on that anymore. But yep, Ronald Reagan is a bad guy in here, and we even had like a interview, like Reagan Kills interview with New York Times best-selling author Mark Elliott, author of Ronald Reagan: The Hollywood Years. So there's some really cool stuff on here. There is again alternate artwork for this one, right here. But I gotta have the great Angie Dickinson on the cover, whose name I forgot, by the way. But it is a fantastic release. I wonder if I have Rififi. Well, yes, I do. It's right here. It is an absolutely fantastic film. If you've never seen it, you always have to get it. This, by the way, was the window box. So for the Arrow video releases, they were white, and for the Arrow Academy releases, they used these black window boxes. And I want to show you one to see what they were like, so I'll give you an idea. So the idea with the window box is you could open it up. It'd be like this. The information will be in the back along with the art for each of the covers, and you could choose which cover you wanted to do. Now this one here, Rififi, came with a pretty thick booklet, especially considering the days that this was done in. I showed you the other booklets, right? I know, like kind of like smaller they were, and even like smaller than that. And we got like 2 discs for Rififi as well, the Blu-ray and DVD. I do like this kind of this noirish artwork right here, but there are some, so I do tend to keep that one as a cover that I put out there. But just to show you, there you go, the window box, and I made it easy to come out because there's just like indent that spot right there, so it's easy to slip out. When people sometimes are thinking about like newer like releases and like new box sets and stuff like that and new ways to put things out, they sometimes don't think about the accessibility of like getting things in and out of the case, which is really important. Next up is a classic Blu-ray, and there's a great 4K this one right now. And this is Cinema Paradiso. I absolutely adore this film. If you love cinema, you're probably going to love Cinema Paradiso. It is a wonderful film. There are 2 versions of the film here. Now, stay with me for this one because here's the thing. Cinema Paradiso is not a short film. It is an epic film. So get your snacks ready when you're watching this one, because you're either going to watch the short version, which is a 124-minute theatrical cut, or if you're like me, you're going to watch the director's cut, which runs at 174 minutes long. I told you, it's not a short film. The way this was done, set up was actually really cool. Just kind of like a movie ticket type thing there. both theatrical and the director's cut are here, each on their own Blu-ray. And it's a great, great film. I recommend it to any fans of any fans of cinema. Next up is Network, one of my favorite movies with one of my favorite speeches, monologues here. Sidney Lumet. It is just a great film. It is satirical. It is biting. It is real. Faye Dunaway, William Holden, Peter Finch, and Robert Duvall all bring their A game to this one right here. And what can I say about this that hasn't already been said? There is a great Sidney Lumet documentary, the director's documentary on here as well. Remember that series, The Directors? Just the making of Network and the fateful vision of the Angus man in movies. I'm mad as hell and I just can't take it anymore. Just a great film, and especially nowadays, I think it's one to really go back and rediscover. I'll put these over here because I want to do these last. Preston Sturges as Sullivan's travels with Joel McCrea and Veronica Lake is just such a perfect film. And basically, John Sullivan is the director, and he wants to get into the audience's kind of mind, and he wants to do a serious film. So in order to do that, he buys the rights to this book, and he decides he's going to try and live his life as one of the downtrodden. He's going to become a hobo. It's a really good film. I definitely recommend it. It's a great film. It has a great commentary and a great comedy aspect to it as well. But I definitely recommend Sullivan's Travels. Classic thrillers don't get any better than The Maturing Candidate. Frank Sinatra, Lawrence Harvey, Janet Leigh, and a very wicked performance by Miss Angela Lansbury in this one right here. If you have not seen this movie, you owe it to yourself. Again, we get a director's episode here with John Frankenheimer. So well done. We got an interview with Angela Lansbury herself, and appreciation by the late great William Friedkin, who was such a cinema fan. So it's always great to hear his work on this stuff. Next up is The Big Knife, another classic with Jack Palance. Like the cast again: Ida Lupino, Wendell Corey, Gene Hagen, Rod Steiger, Everett Sloan, Shelley Winters. Just a great movie. As you can see, Arrow Academy put out banger after banger after banger of classic, wonderful cinema that I really enjoy looking at and talking about. The big combo here with Cornel Wilde and Richard Conte, just fantastic film. If you haven't checked it out, you really, really should. The alternate artwork here, I'll show you because the original. This is the kind of the alternate artwork. This is the poster, but the original artwork was right here. The new artwork that they did, and I just as much as I did kind of like the black and white, I love this kind of cool, almost drugstore looking book art. I think I may change this one over as well. Yeah, I'm going to because I actually do like this art better. So this is Force of Evil with John Garfield. Again, another fantastic film. But I do like the other artwork a little bit better. This is the newer art, but it's just this classic cinema art that I want to put on here. I'll do this on camera, right? Why not? Hopefully you're getting the kind of my excitement and passion for Arrow video releases and Arrow in general is coming through, because I love this company and I love the stuff that they do. Yeah, I like this art better, I think. Some people are gonna like the more abstract art. This is not one of the initial Arrow cases. This is when I transferred it over. A couple cases that got broke along the way and I had to switch them out. But there's John Garfield, Force of Evil. What do you think? Which artwork do you like better? I kind of like this. A Union film release, right? Next up is Ella Raines in Phantom Lady. Love this one here as well. Another really good one, Dark and Deadly, 50 Years of Film Noir, an insightful archival documentary. Definitely worth checking out. Burt Lancaster, one of the truly underrated directors, one of the truly underrated writers, actors. There we'll get it these days. of his time with The Train. The Train is another fantastic film. Um, I'm not gonna. Am I gonna switch around this? No. It is a nice artwork on the inside. Look at that. I think that's probably Kino has. We'll keep that. We'll keep it like that. But again, great stuff. Another fantastic Burt Lancaster film here with Brute Force. Really like this. Hume Cronin is really good in this film. And again, Burt Lancaster, the film noir years, an in-depth look at the actor's early career. Some really great stuff on here. It's another Blu-ray DVD combo pack. And then we have Thief's Highway by Jules Dawson. One of the more recent watches for me again, because I rewatched this one. I love this movie. It is just so good. Um, yeah, I watched this one, and I watched there was like a the, there was a documentary on here on the author and screenwriter of the film. Uh, there was a new video essay. I watched a whole bunch of stuff on there. It was just one of those I just wanted to watch. Now, see, when Arrow came over to North America, because Arrow eventually would come over to North America, one of the first things they put out was and I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, uh, Valerian. We're going to try Valerian Borowski. Well, anyway, this filmmaker's box set as one of the things for if you were going to go out and like support, like crowdfund it. No, I didn't get the box set, but I did pick up a couple of his films, ones that are like that really spoke to me, and ones that I really enjoyed. And the first one was Immoral Tales, which is an Arrow Academy release. This is a really good film. Not for everybody. It is kind of raunchy, and it is a yeah. It has definitely some different stuff there, and to follow that up with the Beast, which was initially going to be like a short, just a short for Immoral Tales, but it became its own film. And with that being said, it is time, finally, to get into the Arrow video section of this. And this is where it gets intense. This is where we get into so many cool releases. And if you follow me through this, or maybe you skip forward to get to the Arrow video portion of this, because I'm not watching those Stuffy Academy films, then we're about to get to it. Here it comes, guys. The Arrow video releases, and oh man, there are so many of them as I'm looking around here. Start to see some of the releases that Arrow Video came out with. You're gonna understand why my love for them is so great. And let's just dive right into it right now with some extremely cool stuff that I think. Now, some of these releases I got specifically because they were Arrow Video releases, because I knew that with Arrow I was going to be getting some great stuff. I don't know if the Incredible Melting Man was one that I initially picked up, but this artwork right here really sold me on it. And I actually did enjoy this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Arrow put out an amazing edition of this with a writer director audio commentary from William Sachs. Super 8 Digest version, which I thought was really intriguing. And if you've never seen Incredible Melting Man, it's a fun release. And I know Scream Factory put it up, but it just didn't intrigue me. But the Arrow Video one did. Black Mama, White Mama, again, it is Pam Grier. We get Sid Haig in this one as well. I was lucky enough to meet the late Sid Haig. He was quite a character, and I mean that in the best possible way. What a great guy. But this is a way different film than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be your standard, like, women in prison type of film. And man, was it ever not that. And I mean that in the greatest possible way. This is a great film. And really shocked us when we watched it. Mark the Devil is one that I recommend to everybody. It is not just an incredible film, but an incredibly important piece of filmmaking. There is a fantastic documentary on here, as well a feature-length documentary called Mark of the Times. This is around the time that Hammer was kind of falling out of favor, and they wanted to have like more grittier, kind of like more realistic, more down-to-earth horror at the time. It wasn't so like happy ending type of horror. This is when the Norman J. Warrens of the world. This is when the Michael Armstrongs of the world were coming about. and it is a fantastic documentary, and it's a great film too. It's a dark film, so obviously not for everybody, but I do think that it really really deserves to be watched. Next up is Melanie Griffith, the young Melanie Griffith, Tommy Lee Jones, Sting, and Sean Bean himself in Stormy Monday. It is fantastic neo noir. I really enjoy this. It's by Mike Figgis, who has made some great films. Of course, the Academy Award, uh, you know, Leaving Las Vegas, and Internal Affairs. Just some incredible stuff. There's a really cool auto commentary with him on here as well, which I can't say really cool because I haven't really listened to all the commentary. My big pride and joys is I got Hell Comes to Frogtown, but not just any Hell Comes to Frogtown. I have the original. In initially, what Arrow Video did was they had the rights to put out 1,000 copies of Hell Comes to Frogtown and Hellgate, and they put them out 1,000 with alternate artwork and would have a booklet. And this is the booklet right here. Now, only the first 1,000 copies had that, and then that was gone for a while. After a while, they were able to gain the rights back to put out like a standard edition release of it. They just took the booklet and that out. But this here is like, and it costs a bit actually in the day. The initial release for How Comes a Frogtown. I love this. I love the art on this. Some people like rag on it, but I actually think it's really cool. This is some very cool stuff. It's when Callum Waddle was still working with, before he got over to 88 Films, he still worked with Arrow Video. Let me get like a very cool book though. I love How Comes a Frogtown. It's just such a fun film. You're gonna see like from things like from Stormy Monday to to Mark the Devil to Hell Comes Frogtown, a lot of really different releases from Arrow Video. Some stuff you're like, what? Like they're putting out like this, like that is like that title. That's an odd range of stuff, right? But Arrow was always good when it came to that. They could put out different stuff, and it would still feel like an Arrow Video title because of the way they presented it. And I think that's key when it comes to stuff like this. Arrow Video titles have to be put out in the ways that okay, this is, this is an Arrow Video. It feels like it. The presentation feels like it. The look of it feels like it. Just the whole depth of it feels like it. Evil Ed, for instance, such a cool film. Again, one that I was initially going to pass up on, but I grabbed the limited edition of this one. I actually grabbed my dad the limited edition of this one as well, because that was a cool one. So disc 1 and 2, you get the special edition cut, and for the limited edition one, you got like a Blu-ray which is as a 9-minute documentary, 9-minute cut of the film, and over 3 hour long documentary, again, which is really really cool actually. Actually, I know one of the people that was actually like interviewed for the documentary. So, such a cool release. It's a splatterfest, but it is such a weird film. I love it though. If you like splatter films, you're gonna love it. All right, next up is a favorite of mine, and it's Donald Cammell's What Did They Eye? It is a thriller, and it's a very, very different film. Donald Cammell was a different director. He, of course, made the Mick Jagger film Performance, and he had a unique kind of auteur-like vision when it came to filmmaking. He was given What Did They Eye? Anybody else would have made this into like a standard kind of slasher flick or kind of a low-rent thriller. He goes way beyond that with this film. This is a great piece of cinema. But what makes this one, and you're saying, well, what if I got the Scream Factor edition? Well, the Scream Factor edition does not have the Ultimate Performance, which is a feature-length documentary on the director, which even if you didn't like this movie, you should own it just for that. That documentary. It's an amazing documentary. But they didn't just deal with stuff like that because they did westerns too, and did some really good ones. So this is a double feature: Pistol for Ringo, The Return of Ringo. Now we watched these in one day. We watched them back to back. Basically, a lot of these use the same cast, but very different, like tonally, and the way that they're done. But I really, really enjoyed these. Not quite sure which one of these I enjoyed most. I did have a favorite when I watched it though. But Giuliano Gemma is in this, and he is Ringo, and does an incredible job. All right. Takashi Miike is a director that you've watched at least one of his films. If you haven't watched this one, it is definitely a weird one, but I love it so much. And it is the happiness of the Katakeris. The hills are alive with the sound of screaming. I love this like sound of music homage type cover. Love music, horror, volcanoes. Cinema was never meant to be like this. It is such a weird but great film. Here, dramatic reading really quickly. The Katakari film on a peaceful country inn at the foot of Mount Fuji. A little more peaceful than anticipated. Their only visitors arrive in a series of suicides, murders, and inexplicable deaths. In order not to ruin the reputation, the Katakaris decide to bury the bodies, but while the cover-ups come back to haunt them. The happiness of the Katakaris combines scenes of grotesque stop-motion animation, surreal musical numbers, and zombies to make one of the finest horror comedies ever made. It is so good. You owe it to yourself to check this out and look at this cover. Do you not want to have this cover in your collection? All right. This one is luckily done. It's like slightly raunchy, but it's done in a way that you actually don't see anything. So I can actually kind of show you this right here. And this is Caligula. Remember the film that I told you about that that hurt Tino Brass's career? Well, this is it. But it is a really good. It is a really good film. I like it. I really like Caligula. I do. This is the uncut version of the film here as well. There's a making of Caligula documentary on here. Just some really cool stuff. That was like a big limited edition that came into. That is not it. This is one of my better half. One of her favorites. And that is The Wild Geese with Burton Moore, Harris Kruger. Just a great the gang kind of gets together. It's an action film. She loves these action type movies, and I actually really enjoyed this one as well. It is violent as heck, and if you've never seen it, you got to check it out. Richard Burton is great in this one. The next one, some people, especially I guess Malcolm is going to be super proud of me for having. Now that is Retaliation. Love this movie. Again, it is a fantastic film. It stars Akira Kobayashi, who of course was in Battles with Honor and Humanity. And I look at this cover. Look at this artwork. How can you not want this? We just like looking at it. How can you not want this? Now this one was limited to 3,000 copies only. I think it's still available, which is shocking to know that if it is. Another one that I'm losing my voice here is this great one here, and this is Branded to Kill. Now, Branded to Kill is a cool little film. It was done by Suzuki in 1967. Not the car company, the director. And it actually comes with a second film called Trapped in Lust, which is a reimagining of Branded to Kill. Done in 1973. So, also really fun to check out. And next up we have The Exterminator, which again is a really good release. And it's kind of an interview there with with Frank Hanenlotter. He kind of tours 42nd Street. See, there is such a great amount of films and titles from Arrow Video that as we're going through this, you'll be able to see why I'm so excited about this company, what I love about these here, and maybe you get an idea of some of the films that I like. If you're new to the channel, you definitely will. The Iguana with the Tongue of Fire, with Ricardo Fredi. It's a Giallo-esque film, definitely kind of like a Giallo film. One of those. It had to have a animal title because the Argento's ones did. Speaking of that, Sergio Martino's Case of Scorpion's Tail. I go back and forth. I had this, and I actually really like this film. I'm a big Evelyn Stewart fan, actually. Anita Strindberg's in this, so. But I keep forgetting I got it, and I keep saying, I got to buy a Case of Scorpion's Tail. But I already have it in my collection. I'm glad I re-looked at that one. Another Sergio Martino one right here, Suspicious Death of a Minor. Fantastic one. Got a commentary with Troy Haworth. And if you've never seen it, yeah, definitely check that one out. We also have here The Forbidden Photos of Lady Above Suspicion. Another great film with the Cat Allinger commentary, so you know that's going to be good right there. And a film by Luciano Ercoli. Ercoli was really, really a great director. And followed up with a favorite of mine, and this here cover is absolutely gorgeous, and that is the Bloodstained Butterfly. Look at that. It is different in that it's almost like a court style aspect to it. There's a court style aspect to it that I really have to like just put out there because it is so different. We have the classic Lucio Fulci film "Don't Torture a Duckling." If you don't, you should own this. Like if you like, if you any even passing like love for the giallo genre, you really need to own this. It is a great film. Not a good one, it's a great film. We have here Black Sabbath. See, so when Arrow Video put out their editions of the Bava films, like unlike when Kino did it and they kind of like broke it up, like you buy the the AIP version, it was one Blu-ray, and if you bought the other edition, it was another Blu-ray. You had to buy two separate Blu-rays. They did these big 3-disc sets where you get all the versions of the film on here. So on this one here, there's like the European version of the film. They have this basically there's the original version of the film as well. There's a redub like AIP with a Les Barker with a different score. Some great stuff in that. We got Black Sunday here as well, another classic one with 3 audio options here. And 2 versions of the film, Mask of Satan, the European version, and the redubbed AIP version. Because when they brought like these films over from AIP, they would re-edit the films and stuff like Black Sabbath, for instance. They literally like changed the order of the stories because that's an anthology film. So it made a big difference, man. $5 for An August Moon, an earlier like giallo with the absolutely like gorgeous Edwidge Fenwick, and it's shocking to know now that but Mary Bava didn't want to use her. He thought she wasn't right for the film. She's actually one of the best parts of that movie. The first Mary Bava giallo, and that is The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Well, some would say this was a proto giallo because it wasn't really like big in giallo at the time, but definitely it is a giallo. And it is so good. And again, it has a recut, rescored edition on it as well. We also have here Big Trouble in Little China. Look at this. Classic film. Love this. Saw this in theater back in the day. And I saw this in theater with my better half when they did a digital film festival a few years back in St. John's. It is such a fun movie. I can understand why it was so hard for this film to do well because it's such a hard film to market. As a guy that went to school for business and public relations and advertising, I completely understand, but it's a great film. Nika Mastorakis gave a rare leading man role, like good guy role, to Brian Thompson, and he does a great job with that. Hard to Kill is a really cool film. George Kennedy, Oliver Reed. Now Brian Thompson, I think, was dating Nika Mastorakis' daughter at the time. But don't think it was just because of all nepotism. They actually did a really great job in the film. We got Mary Bava's A Bay of Blood here, which is just a fun film. Definitely, slasher-esque. And, especially if you watch Friday the 13th, you know what I mean. We got Nika Mastorakis' The Wind, another fantastic title. If you've never seen this one, it is a great film. As a wonderful performance from Wings Hauser. Wings Hauser is great in everything he does, but he is particularly good in The Wind. It is just an incredible performance by Hauser. And next up is another Nika Mastorakis film, and it is Zero Ball. It's probably one he's most known for, aside from On Unto Death. This is one that starts out like it's going to be one movie, and it turns into a completely different film altogether. I love this movie. I've watched this one several times. Back in the day of VHS, I found this one in VHS. I remember getting it at my local video store and not really knowing much about it. It seemed like it was kind of an action film. So I picked it up. I didn't read the back or anything like that. I watched it. I was kind of shocked in the best possible way. Kelly Maroney is in this, of course, from Night the Comet and Chopping Mall, which is one of my favorites. For those that have watched this channel for a long time, they know that at one point in the VHS era, I thought about like starting up my own label, and one of the movies that I looked for the rights for was Chopping Mall. It was one of the first ones I looked into. Next up are some of my Brian De Palmas, and I love Brian De Palma. Dress to Kill, you know, the classic one right here. Just a wonderful performance by Angie Dickinson. And no, that's not her in the shower. That is actually, I think, Nancy Allen. But it's a famous scene. The Fury with Cassavetes and Andrew Stevens. Of course, Kirk Douglas stars in this one. A great film. Obsession. Here's my hot take. I like Obsession more than I like Vertigo. I just do. I just like happier endings. But again, a fantastic film. And Cliff Robinson was in this one. Apparently, it wasn't the easiest guy to work with sometimes, but great film. And you can't talk about De Palma and not talk about this classic right here, and it is Sisters. Sisters is a really great film. If you've never seen it, definitely see it. Go on as blind as you can. It's got the late Margot Kidder. It's got Jennifer Salt in here, Charles Durning, Bill Finley again. Just some incredible stuff. The booklet here, which is great, has a writing by, she's now very, very famous. Starts off, The Reflecting Eye, Seeing Double in De Palma's Sisters by Kayla Janice, who has done some amazing stuff. Canadian, another Canadian that I'm very proud of. Like, she's done some great stuff with Severin. But The De Palma Digest, a film-by-film guide to the director's career by critic Mark Sutton. Some great stuff. And we're not even close to being through, guys. We have Chud here, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller. Just such a fun monster film with a great social commentary. If you've never seen it, it's really, really good. John Hurt, Daniel Stern, really killing this movie, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Next up is The Burbs, which is a comedy horror film that, again, make sure you watch this one. A lot of fun is had with The Burbs. And we got Lucio Bazzoni's The Fifth Chord. Now, you may not be able to tell, but through the magic of editing, I'm going to take a drink. I'll be right back. All right, and next up, we're going to look into some of the white cases that all have like that's window box thing. But like I said before, I'm trying to preserve the window boxes, so I don't have them here. But this is one that isn't one of the window boxes. Where is it? No, I don't think it is actually. But this is Porky's, Bob Clark film. I remember seeing this back in the day. Really still love this movie. It is such a good film. If you've never seen it, and this cover is just absolutely fantastic. But let's dive into the window box covers now, starting off with Phenomenon. And the reason we take out window boxes, another reason is so we can see the different alternate artworks here. Just an incredible film. There's a wonderful booklet inside here as well, one of the early Arrow booklets. A ton of special features on this one too. And of course there's the 4K upgrade now, but I haven't picked that one up yet. We have Inferno here. I gotta actually cover that one, but another really, really good release from Argento. See, Argento was one of the reasons I started getting into this stuff in the very first place, is that they were putting out Argento and putting out, look, Cat Nine Tails looking like this. Like, look at this. Cat Nine Tails is not my favorite Argento film. Look at this cover right here. It's one, it gives away way too much, but still, it's an absolutely stunning cover. Love this one here. Next up is Birth of Crystal Plumage, and of course this cover here is one that I often show off my window box. I just really like the artwork here. The artist that they used for a lot of the early releases was really, really good, and I very, very much enjoyed his work. We have the now classic, of course, Lucio Fulci's Zombie Flesh Eaters. Man, I got this in so many different versions, but this is the Arrow video edition of it, and this is the 2-disc edition. I actually love this movie. It's such a fun film. And feature-wise, it is loaded with features. Just look at this. All that special features. Feel free to pause and read them. We followed that up with House by the Cemetery, another great. And whether you're looking at this art or this art, uh, it's just another fantastic, and again, another 2-disc edition. You know, just obviously it's more of the Shining type art right there, which is not the Shining at all, but it's a very Shining style art. We have Django Prepare a Coffin, another really cool one. I actually really like this film. It's kind of neat. So basically, in this one, Django, basically he goes in this town. He pretends to be working for this like really corrupt guy. He's like he's like he's an executioner, and he's like supposed to be like killing these people, like these enemies of this guy, and he's actually like setting up like he's faking. It's really cool. Anyway, just check it yourself. It's really good. The classic Foxy Brown right here with the beautiful Pam Grier. Often like really known for this one here. Is again a ton of special features, a trailer reel here, just so much great stuff. Director approved edition here. The best artwork you're ever going to see for Funhouse. Again, I really love this movie, and you gotta have a great edition when you're having a film like that. We got Day of Anger right here with Lee Van Cleef. Another absolutely fantastic Western. We got a new interview with Jessica Staldi on here. We interview with Tonino Valeri's biographer, Robert Curti. Just a whole ton of stuff on here. And we have both versions of the film, the Italian theatrical release and the shortened version that was screened internationally. So really cool, really cool. Like there's an 86-minute version of the film and a 114-minute version. So it's a big difference, right? My favorite Pam Grier film, Coffee, right here. I don't think she looked any sexier than she ever did in Coffee. Well, she still looks. She's a beautiful woman today, but this is like Pam Grier at her height for me. I just really love this film. I really, really love Coffee. I think it's a great film. The closest Cannon ever came to winning an Oscar, Runaway Train. It should have won one, actually. Jon Voight, Eric Roberts, Rebecca Mornier are all on their A game. This is just a wonderful, tense, fantastic film. Script by Kira Kurosawa. If you've never seen this one, it is a wonderful movie, and I strongly, strongly recommend it. Again, another 2-disc set with a very big book. But we're getting to the book stage, right? And we followed up with one of my, like, what I think is a really underrated vampire film, and that is Vamp with Grace Jones and Chris Makepeace, Canadian Otto Chris Makepeace. And Robert Resler's listened to, actually, I think. But I was totally in love with Grace Jones at the time. So I may be a bit biased, but I actually really like that one. We follow it up with King of New York, Christopher Walken. And this is, again, a fantastic film. It's recently got a 4K release, Abel Ferrer. If you've never seen it, you really, really should. It is such a great film. And I love the artwork on this right here. And the last, like, slip box, like, window box I ever bought was this one right here, Red Scorpion. It was one of the later window boxes that they had, actually. It's a Dolph Lundgren action film. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Let's dive into some other releases. We got City of the Living Dead right here. Again, a Lucio Fulci classic. Do I have the Beyond? You'll find out very, very soon. Just a great movie. Speaking of like great Italian films, we have here Caltiki, The Mortal Monster, which I really dig. So it is directed by Riccardo Fridi, but the monster like sequences were directed by Mario Bava. Speaking of Mario Bava, we've got right here Blood and Black Lace. Just absolutely love this film. It's got a wonderful, wonderful 4K edition of this. But I think every edition of this one is just fantastic artwork. Look at the artwork on this. Just absolutely gorgeous. Feature-wise, look. Like seriously. We were not doing features like this here in North America at the time. One that you're going to see different copies of when I'm going through different companies, but this is Tenebrae. I'm a massive fan. You saw the DVD at Tenebrae when I showed you the Aerodrome stuff. Well, here is the Blu-ray upgrade to Tenebrae. Again, I love this movie. I think it's Dario Argento's best. It's the one that sticks with me most. Speaking of films I love, Ken Russell's Crimes and Passion. I watched this so many times. I remember getting the unrated copy and like going back and getting the rated copy just to see what the differences were. Because in the VHS days, there was a rated, I think it had a blue cover and the unrated had a pink, something like that. So depending on which one you rented, that's the one you got. And sometimes they'd mix up the VHS in the case. But a great film that I can watch it like over and over again. We got Eaten Alive here by Toe Pooper, one of his most underrated titles as well, because it came right after Texas Chainsaw. And how can you come out after Texas Chainsaw Massacre and what do you do with the classic? I gotta take a drink. Ooh, I'll put those two together. Next up, we have What Have You Done to Solange, another absolutely fantastically stunning film that if you're getting into Giallo, you must own this one. Who plays Solange? Well, it is the feature film debut of Camille Keaton from I Spit on Your Grave. So there you go. This is actually an Arrow Academy release. It got snuck in. This got snuck in with the other stuff. And that is Spirits of the Dead. It is a fantastic little anthology film with some incredible directors. Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, Roger Vadim. Three Tales of the Macabre by Edgar Allan Poe. Got to move some of these around here. We've got some limited editions here that we'll get to in a second. Ooh, one other one. But we have here the great Cemeteries Without Crosses, written by Dario Argento, starring Robert Husson, who was a great, and Michel Mercier, who was great French actors. So if you've never seen them, then definitely check these out. Yeah, so this is a limited edition version. I don't have the slip on it right now, but I'll leave that one over there. So Hellgate is the regular edition of the film. This is not the limited to 1,000 copies. You can see it does not have the booklet. It's the regular edition of it. But I do love this film. It's a lot of fun. Ron Palillo, of course, Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter, is the romantic lead in this, which was definitely a choice. But he does a good job in the film. It's a fun little film. We've got the Hammer Hound of the Baskervilles. We get to see Christopher Lee in a kind of a romantic lead, which is a different role for him. Andre Morel, Peter Cushing, just some really great stuff on here. There is The Many Faces of Sherlock Holmes, a 1986 documentary. I actually might go back and watch this one later on today. I've got to do a video for the Vinegar Syndrome thing. So whether you're seeing this now or later, Vinegar Syndrome had their announcements today. So I'm filming this on February 1st, 2024. Next up is Remo Williams, The Adventure Continues. I saw this in the theater, absolutely adored it. I couldn't figure out why so many people didn't like it. It's a Dick Clark production. And there's a feature-length documentary on 80s action films on here, which is a lot of fun. But this didn't have, I guess, the super drutted out carnage and gore that a lot of the 80s action films had. That was probably one of the reasons it didn't do as well. The Visitor. It doesn't get much weird. It does. Oh yeah, I've seen movies get a lot weirder than this, but still, this is a weird film. It's a weird film. I love it, but it's a weird film. And if you haven't seen it, again, recommendation, Hell yeah. Lance Henriksen, early role for Lance Henriksen this one right here. We get the wonderful Deranged with Robert Blossom. If you're a fan of Home Alone, then the old man next door, the scary old man next door, is the star of this one right here. So this is kind of a take on Ed Gein. So yeah, and it's inspired by Ed Gein. It's a really good film, and I actually enjoyed it. It's very much like kind of it was a lower budget film, but it plays it well. So if you've never seen it, it's definitely worth checking out. Classic. Some Larry Cohen here, guys. You guys know me. You know I love me some Larry Cohen, and that is The Stuff. I love this film. I love Michael Moriarty's like portrayal in this film of his character. If you've never seen The Stuff, this is great. There's a 15-minute documentary on it. Can't get enough The Stuff. Uh, Watch this. It is biting take on consumerism, and it is so real. It is so true. Um, the Chiodo Brothers, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm surprised we haven't never got a remake of this one actually, but this is perfect. It doesn't need a remake, but I'm just surprised Hollywood hasn't ever done it. Horror Express. You know, if you grew up in North America, you saw this on TV pretty much like almost like on a monthly basis. It was one of those late night staples. You know, Telly Savalas, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, just such a cool film. And there's that like scene with the white eyes that freaks people out. It freaked me out anyway back then, and just so good. Next up is Madman, a great film. I really like this. I actually bought this one off of DVD Viver. Um, there's a feature length like documentary on here about Madman. It is such a weird, like great little slasher film. And here you go, right here, the upgrade to Phenomenon. Will I ever upgrade to the 4K? Eventually down the road, but I have the DVD and the Blu-ray right now, and there are again a ton of special features on here. I would upgrade to get the Creeper edition of the film, which is not on here, because I initially saw it with the cut Creepers. Got to follow it up with Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I remember sitting down. I was in St. John's and watching this. Not watching a little bit of this, watching the entire thing. Uh, just transfixed. I watched the film. Afterwards, I remember watching. There was like a conversation between like Ben Wheatley, Norman J. Warren, and Kim Newman. Fascinating to watch. Great stuff. We got the classic Deity's Revenge here. Another one I'm going to recommend to you guys. A great film. Glenn Turman is really good in this movie right here, Louis Gossett. Before the junior was added to his name, he was called Lou Gossett back then. And Joan Pringle's actually really, really good in this. So Glenn Turman plays a guy that is possessed by the spirit of a dead, like pimp, and he wants revenge. So JD's Revenge. Scalpel is a great Southern Gothic film. Oh man, Judith Chapman was a big soap opera. She still is actually a big soap opera. I think she was in Young the Restless not too long ago. But she did a lot of the soap operas. But she is like a young Judith Chapman in this. She plays dual roles. You got to see it to believe it. But it's really, really good. I definitely recommend Scalpel. The Porky's type of movie that got me mad and made me cry and whatever. And that is Last American Virgin. It comes off as a very exploitive title, but it's not a very exploitive film. It's very different than you think it's going to be. One that I watched way too many times. That is Return of the Killer Tomatoes. A young George Clooney is in this one, by the way. I'm not joking. This is the comedic remake, oh, not remake, sequel to to Attack the Killer Tomatoes. There's a sequence in the film where they run out of money, so they have to just start doing like blatant advertising, and it's so good. It's so well done. I recently got asked about this one actually, Nightmare City. Somebody's asked me if this was a giallo film. No, it's a thriller, slash kind of zombie film. It's a horror film, really, and it's a fun one. I really really did enjoy this one. It's a it's one that I kept forgetting I owned. One of my favorite movies of all time with my favorite soundtracks is To Live and Die in L.A. It's an neo-noir starring William Friedkin, sorry, William Friedkin, William Peterson. Yeah, William Friedkin. William Peterson, long before he was in, of course, CSI, but it was a film that kind of gave him prominence. It has a role, a very important villainous role for a young Willem Dafoe, um, who is just so good in this movie. If you've never seen To Live and Die in LA, get on that. Like, see that film. You go from that to another De Palma film, and it's one of the greats. It is Phantom of the Paradise with William Finley as the Phantom. It is so good. It has a got Jessica Harper in this one as well. Garrett Graham as Meat. is in, is in the film, and Paul Williams, who did the music for. There's just you'll see how talented Paul Williams as a musician is. As an actor, he's really good. But as a musician, he's just immensely talented. He has to go from genre to genre to make this really unusual, really different, really unique musical that I superly enjoy. Comedy of Terrors is here. Another fantastically fun Vincent Price film. I really enjoy this one, and it has uh, some great features on here as well, including Vincent Price, My Life in Crimes, the previously unreleased alternate cut of the 1987 interview uh, with Dave Duvall. So just some really good stuff there. The classic movie, The Car, which freaked out my stepmom Dina. She was really like this one really bothered her back in the day. But it's a cool little film. I think Melody Thomas Scott, right, from Young the Restless, is the first one when the first people killed at the beginning of the film. We have Death Smalls on a Murder, which I was actually kind of disappointed in. It's for Joe D'Amato. It's like not as sleazy as you'd think, and just one of those that never really. I felt like it never really got going. It was definitely it's one that I'll say it's a pass for me if you're picking up stuff. One that's not a pass is this absolutely fantastic film right here, and that is Bound with Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon. Sean, it's a fantastic film. Joe Pantoliano, is the main bad guy in it. The guy from CSI, not from CSI, from Law and Order SVU is in this one as well. Uh, the God, I'm trying to remember his name. Christopher Melini. He's in the new in the new Law and Order show now. But he was the the big bad like good badass in CSI. These two sets here, I really wanted to like show last before we got into like more limited edition stuff, and that is the Nakatsu Diamond Guys Volume One. This is a really good set. We got three great films. Voice by the Shadow, I really like this one. Red Pier and the Rambling Guitarist, starting with that one, and it's like, again, it is a 3 disc set, so each one gets its own discs. There's some cool special features on there as well, and they did a second volume too, so I had to pick that up. Tokyo Mighty Guy, Danger Pays, and Murder Corporation. So definitely worth grabbing those. Now let's dive into into the more limited edition territory. Not sure where I put the slipcase of this one, but I gotta find it. That is Blood Rage. Love this movie. It's not Cranberry Sauce, guys. It's not Cranberry Sauce. If you've never seen Blood Rage, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun. This is a limited edition version. The Nightmare at Shadow Woods disc, as well as of course the Blu-ray and DVD for Blood Rage. It is such a weird film, but yeah, and it gets old school like booklets. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love this film. Next up is Lucio Cozzi's Contamination. I really like this, but what really makes this one is Notes on Science Fiction Cinema was a documentary interview with Lucio Cozzi, and he's just like talking and about like goes through his entire career. Lucio Cozzi versus Louis Coates. There's the one. I think it's the one. His filmmaking career from past to present. It's about an hour long. It's really great. It was fascinating. Me and my better half sat down and watched it. We watched it twice actually, because we really, really enjoyed it. Next up is the One Missed Call trilogy. Definitely recommend this one. Uh, three films. I really enjoyed the One Miss Call films. Of course, the first one is done by Takeshi Mikai, uh, but I liked all three of these films. I liked the sequels as well. So if you've never seen the One Miss Call one, definitely recommend it. Next up is Frank Henlotter's Brain Damage. This came with a pin, actually. I got that here somewhere. And with Rick Hertz, who was kind of a famous like soap opera star in this one. It's actually a watch for if you're a fan of the basket case movies. Watch for a cameo by a certain basket carrying dweller in here. So very cool. If you like vampire films, if you like Hammer vampire films, and you don't have this, why don't you have it? Because you need it. It is the bloodthirsty trilogy. Vampire Doll, Laker Dracula, and Evil Dracula, three absolutely fantastic films that really do have that feel of a Hammer like style film. And if you've watched all the Hammer Christopher Lee's and you're still have a hankering for more, Bloodthirsty Trilogy is where you go. We got the Mutilator here, another really cool one. Did I put the different network? Yes, I did. Fall Break. Just such a fun film and way better than I thought it was going to be. Because here's the thing, the Mutilator has a bunch of like characters that are actually extremely likable. Next up is an Arrow Academy release, special edition. That is My Darling Clementine. Again, it had this, much like the Criterion edition of this one, it has the pre-release version. It has the Frontier Marshal, the other film on here as well. So, and a bunch of features. One of my favorites, I stick by it, is Waterworld. I love this movie, I really do. There's an even bigger edition of this one out there. This one is the 2-disc edition, which does have the Ulysses cut, which I really wanted it for, which is like the extended European cut. It's just a whole ton of stuff in there. Speaking of films that I love and I'm ride or die for, Shock Treatment is one of those. This is the sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I love it just as much, if not more, because I'm a massive fan of Jennifer. Miss Harper, I am Jessica Harper. I'm a massive fan of Cliff DeYoung. I think everybody's great in that film. We got Bring Me the Head of Fred Garcia. This is probably one of my favorites in my collection because especially the limited edition. I told people to get this one. It's the limited edition, get that because the bonus disc is really, really worth it. I do love the film itself. I think it's a great movie, but the limited edition version is a reason to grab this edition. So Sam Peckinpah, Man of Iron, the director's cut of the film. So it's the brand new, well at the time, brand new Sam Peckinpah documentary, Man of Iron, but it had 10 freaking hours of previously unseen interview footage with people like James Coburn and Chris Christopherson, Ali McGraw, Jason Robards, just a whole ton of people talking about it. So you get the full-length documentary plus 10 more hours of special features. How can you not love that? The very first 4K ever came out from Vin Diesel, from Arrow Video, and they didn't actually do the remaster on this one. But we'll talk more about some 4Ks later on. And before we get into the limited editions, which we're about to do, we'll get into these other type of limited editions. Let's look at their steelbooks. Steelbooks are starting to make a comeback now, and you're starting to see them all over the place. But Arrow did some really great steelbooks, and now that they work with Zavvi, owns part of Arrow, we're going to see even more. So this is the FYE Reanimator Steelbook. What I don't recommend getting this one. Get the original edition because this one was a 1-disc edition, so there's a whole second disc that's missing off of here. So don't pick up this one unless you already got the special edition. One of my favorites, and I have upgraded to the 4K, but I will never get rid of this, is the Demons 2 Steelbook from Arrow Video. My better half got me this one. I was so excited to get it. Look at this. Right there. So such good stuff. Such good stuff. Had the steelbook for my one of my favorite of all-time Vincent Price films. That's Theater of Blood. If you're ever an actor, especially in stage, you'll understand exactly what I mean by why that's my favorite. We have the big edition of Life Force here. The back I can't show you because, you know, Matilda May, being nude in the film and all. That's on the back. An amazing Terry Gilliam film, Time Bandits here. Has a great steelbook as well. Adore this one. The Takeshi Mikai classic Audition. Kiri 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 is right here. Next up are two fantastic, and I did get the corrected like Blu-ray when it came out, for Shivers. Such a great Cronenberg film. And Rabid. This movie kind of broke my heart, man. This scene. And last but not least, answering that question. No, and last in this section, because we got to get the box set yet, by the way, guys. Do I have the Beyond? I have the best edition of the Beyond. And I truly believe that because look at this cover. Look at this. Look how gorgeous this is. There's 4K editions out there, but unless they're packaged like this, it's just not as sexy. So with that being said, let's get to the box sets. All right, then we're getting into the Arrow Video box sets. There was one more limited edition I want to show you guys before I went on, and that is Thief by Michael Mann. It's a James Caan film, and this one here has extra cuts of the film on here. So it has the director's cut of the film, and it has a theatrical cut, and the theatrical cut was only limited to this one here. It doesn't even show up on the Criterion edition of it as well, by the way, just so you know. So this is a really good cut to get. If you're a slipcover lover, this is a really nice slipcover right here. And of course, has the director's edition with Michael Mann on here. I'm gonna binge some of those in the near future, as well as I didn't bring it over, but The Addiction with Lily Taylor is another one that I have as well. But let's start off with the very first box set that got me really into Arrow Video. It's an Aerodrome set. I said I was going to leave this one for after. There's a reason, because this is the one that made me go region free. And it was only a DVD set, but it made me really understand that I needed to go, because some of these here were region B. And that is the Lucio Fulci Gates of Hell trilogy set with City of the Living Dead, The Beyond, and The House by the Cemetery. As you know by seeing the video, I've upgraded all these. I would never get rid of this set. It is a fantastic. Look how gorgeous this set looks. It came with some booklet that was exclusive to this here specific set as well. It's on writing, so we got The Beyond right here. I think that's one of maybe that's not the booklet. Maybe not, I put the booklet aside. Let's we have City of the Living Dead. I just checked to see. No, maybe. Yeah, I did put the booklet away. And House by the Cemetery right there. Now each of these came with like alternate artwork. You can see right here with House by the Cemetery. But I just love these films. I'm a big Lucio Fulci fan. This trilogy got me into Arrow. See, initially what happened was I was reading horror magazines. I love horror magazines. If you watched and I hope you have watched my video on the horror stuff that I picked up, the horror magazines and omnibuses and books that I picked up recently, then Horror Hound magazine actually really got me into Arrow Video, and because of them, I went out and found. I started picking up. They had an article on Arrow Video. I started picking up Arrow Video stuff because I'd gone onto the website to initially grab some Doctor Who not to Arrow's website, actually to Amazon.co.uk, and I would eventually go to Arrow and I go down the road that I am right now. Next up is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. They did the initial big edition of this one here. I love this. You can see this is the old type of cases, the flimsier cases, but the artwork and everything just made you need to have this one. So there's a film right there. Again, so you got to be careful these here because they're flimsier cases. Come on. It came with a it also basically lets you know what's coming out. But it came with this here, the the Breakfast Club poster, and on the back it would tell you what your number was. When I was 1,906 of, I think it was like 10,000 or something like that. Can't remember how much the printing was now. We got, of course, the with chap top. We got the special features here, which are like the Tobe Hooper's early works on Blu-ray and DVD. But eventually gets its own disc, I think, and a really big booklet here on the. Let's see, make sure I can show you a picture here. Good old Carolyn Williams. She is so sexy. But I love this one, and I would not like give this one up for like, I don't care how many 4K sets you put out of the film. Next up is Deep Red. I was so excited to get this released that we literally stopped our car. We were driving, and hadn't been driving for hours. So we were driving, and we stopped, we parked, and we ordered this, and we ordered the another set that you're going to see in a little bit. That's still over there, actually. But this is Derek Jones Deep Red. It's when they started doing the bigger Jones sets. Still in the Flames Ear slipcases. This one came with a booklet, came with a poster. Deep Red right there. Against the 3-disc edition. The 3rd disc had its own soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. Deep Red. It freaks me the hell out, but love it nonetheless. Great release right there. You know I love my Jello stuff. You see that the upgrades they're doing. This is the original Gangster VIP collection. This is actually really good. I really like these. So if you haven't never checked these out, they're definitely, I think a lot of people sat on these, which is a shame. But it's by Toshio Masuda, and just a cool series about this, based on the gritty Yakuza era and based on the writings of real life ex-gangster Goro Fujita. And I really dug this. Like I said, there's I think there's 6, right? 6 in total. So yeah, if you haven't seen these, definitely check it out. Some people rag on the next set, but I really enjoyed it. And that is Stray Cat Rock. I was a big fan of this one here. There are 5 films in total. Yeah, it's not going to be like the super it's not female prisoner Scorpion, but it actually is directed by the director of some of the female prisoner Scorpion ones, and I found these to be really fun. Probably not as sleazy as you would expect by the titles, but sometimes you just want a good movie, man. You want a good watch, and that's what that is. I'm very excited to have this one because I know this was one of those that that went out of print and pretty quickly, and that is Bride of Reanimator. I love this title right here. This comes with the comic book of the sequel of the film, so you got it right here. Look at that, man. So cool. It was a black and white comic they did, so they, black and white, they could get away with more too. So the whole comic is here, the whole thing, and you gotta love that. Some cool gore in this, by the way. Dawn of the Reanimator. All 4 issues, right? And although they have gotten out of doing like these here limited editions types, and you see a couple more of these after, they still, for some standard editions, once the other ones go out, they'll put stuff. So this is the Yokai Monster Standard Edition collection, and it came in like a slim one, but it's got the Yokai Monsters. So there's 100 Monsters, Spooky Warfare. It's along with Ghosts, and Disc 3 had like the Great Yokai War. So a lot of fun. My better half really wanted this one, so we grabbed this one before we came to Morocco. But the first hardbox set that I got from from them, the very first one, was this one right here. And Battle Royale. It is one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely adore this film, and this is an incredible set. I won't take everything out, but you can see from the back right there that there was books, there was posters, there was comics, there was all kinds of cool artwork on here as well. Just such great stuff. And since, Battle Royale, why not go next with the Ring Collection? Yep, it has 4 films in here in total. So we have The Ring, Ring 2, Ring Zero, and of course there is the movie Spiral on here as well. There's a great retrospective by Jasper Sharp, I think, on this one. And Kat Ellinger does a great interview on here too. If you've never checked this out, you really should. It's a great collection. There was another collection of this with the book, but I didn't like the artwork, and I'm shallow, so I waited and got this one, and I'm kind of glad I did. I did, however, love the artwork and wanted to grab Blood and Hunger, the Jose Larraz collection. So we got Whirlpool, Coming of Sin, and Vampires, or Vampires, whatever you want to pronounce it there. It is such a good collection. There's a great booklet on here as well. Some dark films here, and I just really enjoyed them. Next up are the early works of George A. Romero, Between Night and Dawn. So between the Making Night Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, there were 3 other George A. Romero films. There's Always Vanilla, Season of the Witch, and of course probably the most famous of these is The Crazies, the original Crazies. It is a great set with some wonderful special features. It's a great tribute to the late great director. And if you really do have this in your collection, I think I gave that one to my dad one year for Christmas or his birthday. All right, this is what I'm excited about. This is what I'm excited to talk to you about. The Long Good Friday and Mona Lisa. It's a Bob Hoskins set. It's a handmade film set. It is so good. What's really neat here is the limited edition included some bonus discs, including a bonus kind of a film, like a safety film, like Apache's 1977 John Mackenzie's Notorious Firearm Safety Film presented in high definition for the first time. Introduction to it. There's a 100-page book on here, a hard-page book. Just such a beautiful release. This company, of course, was started by George Harrison back in the day, basically to get a Monty Python movie out. I kid you not. And there's the book right here. Long Good Friday and Mona Lisa. They're both such amazing films. Long Good Friday tends to be one I go back to every once in a while. I just adore it. Like it's cast, the way that it's done. I mean, this was at a time when, series like Miner and stuff were on the air. You had these anti-hero type characters, and they work. So there were 2 editions of the House collection that came out. One was in North America, and it was a Blu-ray collection that included House 1 and 2. But if you bought the UK edition, you got all 4 films. And I bought the UK edition. Of course I did. So we get House, House 2, House 3, otherwise known as The Horror Show, and of course House 4, their Repossession, which is decent. Actually, I didn't mind it. They're all fun with some decent special features on here, some documentaries, some other commentaries. House 3 actually includes the theatrical and the uncut version of it as well, which I don't think my Scream Factory edition had, because it was under The Horror Show for Scream Factory, but really, really enjoyed this. Next up, we have the Vincent Price 6 Gothic Tales, the original set that came out with the book and the comics. And yeah, I will show you the comics. One of the things I get asked about most when I show this set. What did the comics look like, right? So, for instance, there's everything, like Edgar Allan Poe bio was in there. Just some great stuff. There's some great write-ups in here as well. It's not just comics. but you know, right with Jonathan Rigby, Tim Lucas, just some truly great stuff. Roger Clark, Vic Pratt, Roger Lockhurst, Julian Upton, uh, and Vincent Price thing. It's just great. It's got Tales of Terror, Pit and the Pendulum, Fall of House of Usher, The Raven, Tomb of Legia, and Haunted Palace. So great films. And the one that I bought, actually wasn't on, it's right here, with when Deep Red came out, was this one right here. And it's the Scarlet Box. Yeah, I'm a Hellraiser fan, and I just love this set. I had to have this edition. It just was so cool. It came a little bit late, and it came with a card and with a pin, like a sorry for being late, you know, type thing. It was super cool. It is a great set, and if you want me to go over any of these sets, by the way, in a future video, I can do so. Some of these were repackaged and put into other things called Giallo sets. With different color Giallo, Giallo red, Giallo yellow, Giallo black. Giallo black doesn't have any of the old repackaging stuff. Giallo black actually has new stuff. So, but this is Killer Dames, an Emilio P. Marigali set, and we have the Red Queen killed 7 times, and Night Evelyn came out of the grave on this one, along with a great booklet as well. It's a book at that point, guys. We have the Black Cat set here, which has the Lucio Fulci's Black Cat, and of course your Vice is a locked room and only I have the key. One of my absolute favorite giallos by Sergio Martino. Probably my favorite Sergio Martino giallo, to be honest with you. We followed up with the Ercole set, and we get Death Walks Twice, which has Death Walks on High Heels and Death Walks at Midnight. You owe it to yourself to have both these films in your collection, even if you don't have that set. Let's get into some of the, I guess the shot on video type stuff. I don't want to shot on video, but the lower budget, like regional horror stuff. So let's go with the first volume first. I gotta do these right? So the regional horror we get with the American Horror Project. We start with Molesta's Carnival of Blood, The Witch Who Came From the Sea, which is a really good film, and Premonition. Actually, all 3 of these are really solidly great films. I remember sitting and watching these one night and just having a blast with these films. Like Witch Who Came From the Sea is a dark film. They followed up with Volume 2, which was equally good. Dark August, Dream No Evil, and The Child. Just some really good titles in here that I strongly recommend. If you want to stick with regional horror, then and just like cheesy funness, then go with this one, the William Griffey set. It is He Came From the Swamp. It has a fantastic documentary on William Griffey in here, but it doesn't just have that. It's got a book. It's got a hardcover book in here. It has Sting of Death, which is hilarious. Death Curse of Tartu, Hooked Generation, the Psychedelic Priest, which I love, the Naked Zoo, Mako, Jaws of Death, Whiskey Mountain, and of course the documentary that came from the swamp. So just such really, really good stuff in here that I definitely recommend that you check out. And there are so many more to show you yet. Next up is a classic Brian Yuzna film, and I love that I've got this box set because I love this film and I love this edition. This is the special edition of Society. It is an absolutely fantastic edition of the film, and it includes the sequel. Yes, there was a sequel to Society. It was done in comic book format. And let's just take a look right here. And yes, it is in full color. So you get all that grotesqueness of Society in full color. Society, Party Animal. So, and it pretty much takes off where the first one ended. This is a great set. It comes with, of course, the is that another one of those limitation cards? You are hereby invited to take place in Society. Of course, it's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. Really enjoyed this film. I like the comic book too. It was really good. If you ever get a chance to pick this up, pick it up. Next up is the Complete Dr. Phibes. It was the I'm a massive fan of Vincent Price, as you guys can tell from the stuff I got there. But I really love the Dr. Phibes films, especially because at sometimes, like, it takes away a bit of Vincent Price's his voice, which is kind of what he's big for. But these are really, really good movies. If you've never seen these, strongly recommend these. And it was a great set. It came with, just so I'll show you guys. The Bomb Dr. Phibes. Dr. Phibes rises again. And of course, look fun for you, right? The incredible book here. Just so well done. Be careful with these like kind of limited edition things, eh? Especially when they get the thin boxes. Next up is Bloodbath, which is a very interesting film, and the documentary on it is probably even more interesting than the film itself. See, it was Roger Corman, and what he did is he bought this picture, this Yugoslavian picture, called Operation Titan, and he made 3 different films out of it. Very different films, actually. So yeah, recut and rescored to create Portrait and Terror, kind of a driving movie. Then it's handed over to Jack Hill, and then by Stephanie Rothman, the Bloodbath was there, and then Track of the Vampire. So very, very different films, by the way, once you get to check them out. Next up is one of the more modern sets, to put it, well, not modern films, but newer sets, and that is Cold War Creatures, 4 films by Sam Katzman. This is a great set. We got Creature Without a Brain, The Werewolf Zombies of Moroto, and The Giant Claw. So just some great stuff, including essays and artwork, 2 separate booklets there as well. Some really, really great special features on here. I definitely recommend it to anybody that likes the style filmmaking. And one of the key pieces in my entire collection is this one right here. And this is the Krzysztof Kozlowski, The Decalogue and Other Television Works. There was a Criterion edition put out, which I was not a fan of. But I did really want to get the Decalogue, and I wanted the other stuff that was in here. See, and maybe you want to pause on this if there's something you ever want to pause on. Just look at this right here. This has not just the Decalogue, but a whole ton of other films by Krzysztof Kozlowski that were done for TV. It's just some really, really great stuff. And if you've never seen it, you really owe it to yourself to check it out. If you can get your hands on this, do so. It is a fantastic set, and one that is a key cornerstone in my collection. Next up is the Complete Sartana. I'm just going to read these titles. They're so cool. Sartana's here. Trade your pistol for a coffin. If you meet Sartana, pray for your death. I am Sartana, your angel of death. Have a good funeral, my friend. Sartana will pay. Light the fuse. Sartana is coming. It's just such a cool set. And it's very... Sartana films are super cool. So, again, it's Giuliani Gemma and these here, and he is so good. So good. You know, he of course he played Ringo, and then of course we had so we got so did Ringo, then it said like Franco Nero did Django, Tony Anthony did The Stranger, and Gianni Garco did Sartana. And Gianni Garco is really good in this one right here. So if you've never seen these, it's super cool. Now I think George Hilton is on one of these actually. So Gianni Garco's not in all the films. I'm pretty sure George Hilton's one. I have to look at it again. So I wasn't going to get this next one initially. I actually ranted online. But like, oh, Arrow's losing their way. They're not being the Arrow that I know anymore. And I literally kind of, I ended up buying it. And this was sort of the reason that I started to fall in love with this type of cinema. And it is Battles Without Honor and Humanity, the Kinji Fukasaku's, the complete collection. Now, there's the new Battles Without Honor and Humanity, which I don't have, unfortunately. But this was, it's a 6 disc set. So it has the 5 films, and it has when they cut them all together to make the complete saga, kind of like with Godfather, when they did that Godfather like complete cut. But these were based on 6 films. It's altogether there's 13 discs, and incredible stuff. So they were based on like what's the word again? On newspaper articles, actually. So these, my kids started watching these. You found them kind of dry. I think you kind of like just got to give them time, kind of got to get into them. but I really, really enjoyed this way, way more than I was going to. The hardbound book here is absolutely stunning, and you get, oh, you hear that? Cracking. Oh, first time I've opened that in a long time. So you want to see the contents right here. But just some incredible write-ups here, man. Some amazing stuff. 13 discs too. This was a limited edition, and the book, of course, and the complete saga were limited to there. So I'll show you what the complete saga looks like in case you're wondering, because you can buy them separately now. I think I can buy like an unlimited set, but this one here I think was limited to the to this set. So this is the complete saga, which is the editorially combining the storylines of the first 4 episodes of Battles with Honor and Humanity. Got a limited theatrical run in 1980, and subsequently aired on Japan's Toho channel. Condensed version necessarily eliminating certain plot lines and characters. It's also a fascinating look at the way the studio repurposed one of its treasures for a new audience, while also creating something unique for longtime fans. Never before screened overseas, the complete saga was also unavailable on video in Japan until 2013. A mysterious treasure for collectors and fans for over 30 years. 224 minutes long. I know that might seem long, but considering that it's, it takes 4 films, it really isn't. Just so well done, and they don't like put it on one. You got like it's a 3 disc set here. You've got a Blu-ray and 2 DVDs, because it's just amazingly epic. And 110% worth checking out. Younger me was so silly for ranting about it. Now let's dive into some of the slimmer line releases and some super cool stuff. First off is Cat o' Nine Tails, which you'd be surprised that for me to own the special limited edition of, because this was one of my lesser Argento films, but I actually found this for a really decent price. There were some pretty cool, like, new features and a new transfer of the film. So I would eventually like to get all these. We also have a 4K edition of Flash Gordon here, one of my better half's favorite films of all time. We got such a cool film, and I watched this in theater initially, and I got to watch this in theater again with my better half. And it's so colorful and so vibrant, and it's just made for 4K. So if you're a fan of that, then definitely pick it up. The Thing Special Limited Edition. This one sold out, and it came back during a sale, so I picked it up right away. And this is a really good edition. This is the sexiest edition of this film. Look, there's no like. Look at this art. Look how amazing this is. It's so incredible. And the sexiest and best version, although I do have the Criterion edition, this is the better edition. And this is Videodrome, a David Cronenberg film. You guys know I love myself some David Cronenberg, and this is a really good one. This includes David Cronenberg's early works, which I think at the time was limited to this. I think it's since gotten its own release. A collector's booklet, 100-page book on here as well. It's not a booklet, 100 pages. It's a book at that point. And it is a hardbound one as well. So, gotta love when they do those hardbound books. We have Crash here, another fantastic 4K edition from Arrow Video, and a wonderful film. Followed this up with RoboCop. This is not the 4K, this is the Blu-ray edition. This was sent to me by a viewer, and I am so grateful to the viewer for sending me this, because I love this film, and this is such a cool edition. I love the way this is done. Next up is Last House on the Left. I don't know, not for everybody, but definitely one that I'm glad that I've got in my collection. To avoid feigning, keep repeating, it's only a movie, it's only a movie, only a movie. And last, but definitely not least, is Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes. They put out a great edition of this one as well. And oh man, it's just such coolness in this one right here. Alternate ending presented in HD for the first time. All right, there you go. That is my Arrow video collection. And hopefully you can see why Arrow is such an important and amazing company for me, why I love the stuff that they do so much, and why I think that it's a company that you really, really need. You need to know that you, because it's amazing, the stuff that they put out. And it's amazing, like just the breadth, the depth, like the scope of Arrow Video is incredible. But here's the thing. Some people could get lost in the shuffle of the different types and the genres, the things that Arrow put out. However, I can tell you right now that Arrow Video is that one company that when they put out something, you know it is distinctly, sincerely, and completely an Arrow Video release. My name is Aaron. Thanks for watching. This is the Call to Cinema. If you enjoyed this one here, this one took a while. My battery depleted like crazy, so I'm going to be plugging this in because I got to do a live video soon. And I'll see you soon right here in the Call to Cinema. I almost forgot 3 amazing, incredible Arrow releases because they were so big and oversized that I didn't have them with my regular Arrow releases. I was almost ready to finish this video. First off is With No Eye by Handmade Films. It's a great release, and damn, this is such a good movie. It's one of my favorites. But what's really cool is it's actually you see like books, media books, and like the those digibooks. This is actually literally it's a book, like it's a full book, and after the book you get With No Eye on Blu-ray, you get With No Eye on DVD, and you get this follow-up film, How to Get Ahead in Advertising, on both Blu-ray and DVD. This came with a limited edition slip that there was 3 different slips, I think. So so this one was like super limited, and it's one of my favorite films. So if you're a With No Eye fan, it's really worth having. Next up is the Herschel Gordon Lewis Feast. It's an amazingly big set. It looks like a cereal box. The way that it's done is incredible. You know what's really incredible though? This isn't the biggest version of this set. There's a Shock Gore set that's even bigger. This is Volume 1, which is 1963, 1967. Has some like super cool films on here. Blood Feast here is, of course, 2000 Maniacs, Moonshine Mountain. It follows up with from 1968 to 1972. And we get some of these other films: She Devils on Wheels, How to Make a Doll, The Wizard of Gore. And what's really super cool is we also have one of those, the Herschel Gordon Lewis annual. So like one of those annuals you'd see in Canada or in the UK, but just a really cool kind of like cheesy, crazy version of it, with things like and How to Make a Doll, one of those it's just so cool. And you gotta make sure I get this in right. Last but definitely not least is Gamera, the complete collection. A massive set, put the Godzilla set by Criterion to shame. And it is so freaking good. You start out and you get this big set here with all the Gamera films with some amazing artwork on the inside. From Gamera the Giant Monster right on up to Gamera, the he she stuff with with Revenge of the Irish, stuff like that. And then you go into here and it's got some art cards as well on the inside of that. Then not to be outdone with that, decided to like Gamera had some comics and kind of an exclusive like early comic that wasn't really published, I don't think, and then had a 4-part Dark Horse comic book series. So in oversized format for you omnibus and comic lovers here, they did this Gamera comic series. Some great stuff. Even did the like the write-ups that were in the comics were included, and the original like black and white comic was included there as well. And they also included a book on Gamera, which also has these really cool X-rays of the different Kaiju characters that are in the film. But it is so amazingly well done. When Arrow Video truly like puts their mind to it, when they decide on something that they love, that they adore, that is like massively important to them, you don't get any better. You can't get any better. From Herschel Gordon Lewis to the Gamera collection to a more indie film like With No Eye. What more can you want? Once more, like, share, subscribe. You want a super chat or super sticker, donate, wonderful. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're a patron so you can get a lot of these videos like exclusively earlier. And but above all, enjoy your time on the channel, and let other people know that you're enjoying your time here, and you're seeing long collection videos like this that are the length of a movie, and some nice shorter ones as well. See you soon.